Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, so subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So, question is, if asexuals lack sexual attraction, how do they know what type of attraction they feel for someone? How do they know they experience any attraction for someone? That's what we're going to be diving into right now. First of all, if you don't know who I am, Sandra Bellamy, author of this Asexual Perspectives book on Amazon. So don't forget to grab your copy of that and Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life. These are my two best-selling asexual books. So, how do asexuals know if they experience attraction towards someone if they don't experience sexual attraction? Let's break this down. First of all, what is asexuality? Asexuality is a sexual orientation that is based on a lack of sexual attraction. But a lack of sexual attraction or a lack of something can mean two different things. One, a person does not have any of it. They lack the thing completely, in this case, sexual attraction. Or two, they lack something as in don't have enough of it. So this means that some asexuals completely lack sexual attraction, any sexual attraction whatsoever. These are called the pure asexuals. And also there's grey asexuals, some of whom, or the majority of whom, experience sexual attraction but not enough to want to act on it. Or the other type of grey asexual is experience sexual attraction but infrequently, rare, under limited circumstances. So, for example, demisexual falls under the grey asexual part of the spectrum. A demisexual can only experience sexual attraction once a deep bond is maintained and sustained. And this means that they can't experience sexual attraction until then. So they're really like a pure asexual until someone comes along that they happen to form a deep emotional bond with, and finally they can, feel that sexual attraction. So that's a general overview of asexuality. So if we take this then to know and understand that asexuals lack sexual attraction, but some asexuals, pure asexuals, experience no sexual attraction. The grey asexuals in general can experience sexual attraction. Either they experience it enough but not to want to act on it. Either they experience it but not enough to want to act on it, or they only infrequently experience it, that type of thing. So once you've got that in your mind, you can understand that not all asexuals completely lack sexual attraction. Those on the more grey end of the asexual spectrum do in fact experience it sometimes, right? So this is very important. And just because an asexual lacks sexual attraction, which maybe they lack any sexual attraction whatsoever if they're a pure asexual, it doesn't mean to say they can't experience other forms of attraction. So what are some of those forms of attraction that asexuals might experience? So, for example, I'm a romantic asexual, a hetero-romantic asexual. So in other words, I get attracted to the opposite gender. So I'm female, I get attracted to guys, which is the hetero part, but I get attracted to them romantically, not sexually. So someone saying in chat she's married to a woman. I am not married to a woman. I am very much single. I'm not attracted to women whatsoever. I'm attracted to only guys. I'll put that out there now. There's this myth that if you don't have sex with guys, you're a lesbian or something. I'm very much not a lesbian. I'm not attracted to women at all. I'm definitely attracted to guys. And one of the ways in which I'm attracted to guys is romantically. I'm also attracted to guys aesthetically. But it depends on which guy it is. I'm not attracted to all guys, but I can experience up to 8 different types of attractions for different guys. Some I experience multiple attractions for. Some I may experience only 1 or 2 attractions for. So some of the attractions I feel, like I said, are romantic and aesthetic. I can experience intelligence attraction, clothes attraction, sensual attraction with the guy's upper body, creative attraction, emotional attraction, and there's usually some others as well. So there are a lot of those types of attractions that I experience. And the good thing about asexuality is when you take the other types of attractions away from sexual attraction, then you can really understand how you relate to other people in the world through your different types of attractions you experience. Because asexuals don't clump everything together as sexual attraction like many heterosexuals do, for example, it's a good thing because we're able to discern the different types of attractions that we experience for other people. And I personally don't experience any platonic attraction whatsoever, which is very unusual for an asexual person. Most asexuals experience platonic attraction. I don't experience platonic attraction whatsoever. So what does that mean? It means if I, for example, come across a guy I'm attracted to, I'm instantly attracted to him usually, or after a few messages. So I would get instantly aesthetically attracted to some guys, for example, almost followed simultaneously by romantic attraction towards that person. Some guys I might think you're so aesthetically hot looking that I just want to snog your face off, right? Passionately kiss, if you don't know what snog your face off means. So just because I'm asexual and I lack sexual attraction doesn't mean to say I don't get attraction for guys in other ways. And how do I know this? Because I feel it within my mind, in my body, in my soul. When I say in my body, it's like if it's a romantic attraction, this can be like excitement feeling, and like a kind of butterflies in the tummy, a nervousness, excitement. If I'm aesthetically attracted to someone, I could be like, oh my God, he's so good looking. I can think a guy's hot, but it's aesthetically hot, not hot as in I want to jump your bones because I don't like sex. I'm not interested in sex because I'm asexual. And some asexuals do have sex. Some asexuals are sex positive. I'm sex repulsed for me personally these days. I don't care if other people have it, like it, want it, need it. And it's consensual, right? So so I know I experience different types of attraction to guys. In my lifetime, I've experienced, for example, really strong intelligence attraction for someone and just a little bit of romantic attraction. That was very unusual, that person I was attracted to, because I don't usually get just intelligence attraction for someone. Usually, if I get aesthetic attraction, romantic attraction usually follows very closely. And if I'm romantically attracted to someone, usually I need to be aesthetically attracted as well. It's not always the case, but usually romance is secondary to aesthetic. So if I see a guy in the street who's really, really hot looking to me aesthetically, like a beautiful face, for example, then I have strong aesthetic attraction to him. This is not true of every asexual because I don't experience platonic attraction. So I don't really hear of other asexuals going, oh, I want to go up and snog that guy now. That doesn't happen usually because they experience platonic attraction. I skip that stage. That must be difficult, says someone in chat. Yeah. Is it hard to start relationships? So I personally am not in a relationship. I'm personally single. It depends what type of asexual you are. I think it's a very good question you've asked in chat. It's hard for asexuals to find a match if they're sex repulsed. So there's some asexuals that are not sex repulsed. They're sex positive or sex neutral. Sex positive usually means that they are, they have a positive attitude towards sex. Although you could find some asexuals are sex positive, but they still don't want the sex themselves, right? Some asexuals are sex neutral. They don't care where they have sex or they don't have sex. And some asexuals like me are sex repulsed. You can get two different types of sex repulsed asexuals. Predominantly, most sex repulsed asexuals hate talking about sex. They hate anything to do with sex. Or if they don't mind talking about it, they definitely, they have no interest in it for themselves. And they may just hate sex in general, think it's absolutely disgusting. and that's it. I'm sex repulsed asexual for me personally, but I don't care if other people are having sex, like it, want it, need it, enjoying it, it's consensual. So I'm sex repulsed for me, but I'm okay for other people having it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So I have been in long-term committed relationships in the past. I've had 2 long-term relationships with heterosexuals, guys. Actually, I did have sex in the past. I'm an asexual who has had sex in the past, but I'm sex repulsed myself these days. I found out I'm asexual in 2014, and the reason I had sex in the past is because I thought I had to, because obviously society dictates, right? A happy, healthy relationship includes sex, right? But that isn't true for everyone. If you don't like sex, you don't want it, and you don't need it, and you're actually thinking, I'd rather do without it, I'm not interested in it, you know what I mean? Then it's, you know, it's not healthy to be doing something that's not healthy for you, right? Just because the majority of the world's population is heterosexual, well, of course they're going to say that, because heterosexuals in general, the majority, love sex. It's one of the things that drives them forward in their life, you know, to procreate, to mate up, to get a date, you know, it's one of the driving forces of life for them, right? So they put a lot of emphasis and stock in sexual attraction. It's big business, isn't it, in the media, for example. So, you know what I mean? There's so much publicity, and so much publicity these days for an advertising, you know, about sex toys, sexy lingerie, Viagra, you know, buy this to look more sexy, buy this to look more hot, right? It's big business. So of course they want the world population to be on board with sex is wonderful, because they can sell to you then. They can sell you loads of stuff, right? And most people in this world are conditioned from birth to believe heterosexuality is the normal sexuality, when we know it's not normal for everyone. Not everyone's heterosexual. And they're conditioned from birth to believe that, you know, they experience sexual attraction because the majority of the world population is heterosexual. So the majority of people are conditioning their children to believe they're heterosexual. It's only when you have your own mind and you become self-aware that you can realize that, hey, that actually doesn't fit me. That's not actually who I am, because I'm not thinking and feeling these things. So, and the person in chat says it's certainly commercialized. Yeah, thank you. So with me, you have to, or you'll be right. Okay. So there's someone in chat saying that that's really bad. So I'm not gonna have that. So there's someone that says with me you will have to be forced to have it against your will and like it. I'm not having them in my chat. They are now banned from commenting on my channel. They're hidden, because I'm not having people that think it's okay to sexually abuse people, right? So don't let them trigger you. Oh, I ban them because I'm not having people be rude to other people in this channel. They'd be done for sexual assault anyway, you know. But people are entitled to say what they like, but I'm also entitled to block someone from my channel if they're being disgusting and rude. So yeah, Jonathan, what did I just come into? Good decision banning them. I agree with banning, but don't take it personally. Yeah, a lot of people come and troll. They just like attention. That's why they put the stuff they do in chat. You know what I mean? They want attention on them, and I don't know why they make up a load of rubbish, but anyway. But you know, sexual abuse and sexual assault is very serious, and I'm not going to have someone on this channel in chat saying stuff like that, because that, you know, they need to see a therapist or someone if they think that it's okay to go and put stuff like that in chat, you know. It's not. I have to say, no matter what sexual orientation someone is, whether they're asexual, heterosexual, bisexual, pansexual, whatever sexual or asexual person, under no circumstances is it acceptable to be saying you'll force someone into sex against their will, or actually doing that. That is sexual abuse. If you have been a victim of sexual abuse, please go and speak to someone like the Samaritans or a crisis line. This is a very serious thing, right? So, do you feel sorry for the men who wasted their time in relationships with you? Was you honest with them? One is they didn't waste their time in relationships with me. And two is, like I've just said, I've had 2 long-term relationships plus other relationships. And I used to have sex in the past. And if you think someone wasted their time if they're not having sex, then you just place all the value of someone of whether they're having sex in a relationship or not. That isn't someone's value. Someone shouldn't be valued for how much sex they are or not having in a relationship. What makes them valuable is their character traits. That's what makes them valuable, not whether they have sex or not in a relationship. If someone has a relationship with me and waste their time with me, they were lucky to be with me. And I'm very upfront and honest about my asexuality. I didn't know I was asexual in the past. I had sex in the past in my relationships. I didn't have much with some of them at all, but in my last long-term relationship I did, right? So, and yes, I've been cheated on because I wasn't interested in sex and I didn't have sex that much with some of my ex-boyfriends. And one guy, I actually stopped seeing, I didn't know I was asexual at the time, but I actually cut the relationship because he was very sex-driven. And after 3 weeks, I got very bored with the sex. It was so boring because I'm not interested in sex. And I was interested in his cooking. He was great cooking for me. I loved his cooking. Very hot aesthetically, very drop-dead gorgeous aesthetically. But the sex, it was just so boring. I literally couldn't stand it anymore. I'm like, there's nothing to this relationship. I love the cooking, but hey, I hate cooking myself, But I'd rather cook myself and not have the sex. So, your value is not placed on how much sex you are or not having with someone. Your value is your character traits, your heart, your caringness, your compassion, your empathy, your sympathy, your appreciation of the other person, your ability to work as a team. These are all things you need to pay attention to in your life. Can't you cook? I absolutely hate cooking. I can't stand cooking. I'm not a traditional housewife person at all. Definitely not. So I do cook because I have to cook. And I cook in the quickest way possible. Because I'm not interested in cooking, but I have to eat. And I like eating, but I hate cooking. Can't stand it. Don't like housework at all. Whatsoever. Not interested. I'm not interested in stereotypical things to do with women. So someone's trying to say the fact she won't have said that here, wanted have time and emotions, they say they should be grateful. Oh dear. So if someone's in a relationship with a human being and it's a kind, caring, loving human being, then of course they should be grateful to have that person and appreciative in their life. So you don't value someone and the amount of sex they are or are not having. And I was in long-term sexual relationships, even though I'm asexual, because I didn't know I was asexual at the time. But since I've known I'm asexual, I tell everyone on dating sites that I'm asexual. So anyone who gets into a relationship with me knows I'm asexual and I don't like sex and I won't be having it. That's their choice and decision where they decide to be in a relationship with me or not. I'm actually on a dating detox now since last May. And it's going very well, actually. I was on the dating scene actively for 10 years. So, yeah. So I love being asexual. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy leading a sex-free life. I only had sex in the past because I thought I had to as part of a normal relationship because society dictates that. But I'm not interested in sex at all. It doesn't make me happy. And in life, you should always do what makes you happy and not what society dictates you should do, right? Society has a lot of conventions and stereotypes that we must live up to, but we don't have to live up to them. We can be free to be who we want to be in our life. You know, I live on my own. I enjoy living on my own. Even if I was in a relationship, I don't want to live with someone. I don't want marriage and I don't want kids. I live a very unconventional life and I really enjoy it that way. You know, it's really, really good for me. I like all that type of thing. So anyway, getting back to the attraction, like how can asexuals understand different types of attractions? Because just because we don't experience sexual attraction, or some of us don't experience, you know, like I said, asexuality is a spectrum. So some people don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever, like I don't, but others can experience sexual attraction, but only infrequently or under rare or limited circumstances, or experience it but not enough to want to act on it. But we can experience different types of other attractions. Some asexuals don't experience any attraction. Usually they're like, for example, aromantic asexuals. They don't experience any romantic attraction or asexual attraction, but they can sometimes still experience things like aesthetic attraction. They might still experience things like sensual attraction. Or you might find someone who doesn't experience any type of attraction. So it's really down to the individual, but we've still got our senses and we can still detect when we're attracted to someone, especially if we're very aware of our own reactions and the way we feel when we're around someone. And for example, if you really are engrossed in a conversation and you feel that that conversation is very, very intellectually stimulating, and it's, you know, you get very excited every time they go into deep conversations with you, you could find that you might be intelligently attracted to someone, depending on how you define intelligence, right? I define intelligence personally by a guy who can talk about website coding. I'm attracted to particular guys who talk about website coding. Why? Because I design my own websites, but I can't code. I'm not a coder. It still takes a lot of skill to be able to design your own websites using templates and things like that, and plugins and WordPress.org, and to understand how the plugins work together, etc. My point is that I get attracted to guys who can code because I can't actually code. And I love that. And I love talking about tech. I love talking about website design stuff. And I'm actually part of Tech Exeter meetup. There's another meetup going on tomorrow night, so I'm going to that. And I just find it so beautiful. It's very, very attractive. I love talking about it. It's very energetic and vibrant. And I love that. So we can take our passions and what we feel passionate about and start to relate them to our feelings and the types of attractions we might experience. Jonathan, love and sex are different. Absolutely. And a romantic asexual person is in a position for a romantic relationship, at least with someone else on the same page. So yeah, exactly. So there are asexuals that I know that are married to other asexuals. I know 2 asexuals and they're both married to other asexuals and they don't have sex. They're sex repulsed as far as I know. I mean, I don't go around asking them saying, have you had sex tonight? But I don't know their partners well, but I know the 2 people that are asexual because they're on my friends list, and one I came to my meetups. That's how he found his girlfriend, and that turned into his fiance, that's his wife for a number of years now. So this guy, he came to my asexual meetup in person, and he's always said that it was my meetup that inspired him to go around to all the asexual meetups he could possibly go to in 3 months. And that's how he found the love of his life, who's asexual. And then she moved, just before they got married, she moved to actually live with him. And they've been happily married for years, and he is a very faithful, loving guy. And he's sex repulsed, but romantic asexual. So yeah. And there's another couple. She's a writer. I'm a writer, obviously, of asexual books. She writes I write non-fiction asexual books. She tends to write fictional books, but I think she's done some anthologies as well as other stories. And she's married as well, so to another asexual person. As far as I know, she's a sex repulsed asexual as well. So asexuals can and do form relationships with other asexuals. Some get married, some choose not to. But as you know from my Asexual Perspectives book, if you've got this one, there are some people who are asexual in relationships with sexuals. There's one person who's in relationship with an asexual person, and the sexual person doesn't mind not having sex. They're cool without it. So it varies on the person. You know, there are some people who can live without sex who are not asexual because they really want to be with that person specifically rather than having the sex with someone else, because they really love that person's personality and they're really kind and caring. So so someone's asking in chat, surely it's something around sex that just needs therapy. No, it's not something that needs therapy. I don't want, like, or need sex. I'm not wired that way. I'm happy being asexual, and I love being asexual. I love being true to who I am. You could say out of every sexual orientation. So surely heterosexuality is something that needs therapy. Why? Because people have it in their brain that they have to have sex. People watch porn, people get obsessed with sex, which is very, very unhealthy. And you could say that's an issue. Do you know what I mean? You can say any sexuality is an issue. Any sexuality needs therapy. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with therapy. I'm an advocate of therapy, right? For when you need it. The asexuals don't need it unless they're going through some more other trauma. Like, I see a therapist recently, but that's got nothing to do with my asexuality. That's actually the thing that we don't talk about. That's for my own personal reasons, right? So therapy, I'm a big advocate of, and there's no problem in having therapy. Everyone should see a therapist if they want to improve themselves, improve their life. It's like you go to the gym, if you do go to the gym to improve your body, you might eat more healthily to improve your body, you might read books to improve your mind. So you go to therapy, don't you? But you say that like it's an insult, like people who are asexual need therapy, like it's some sort of therapy is an insult. Therapy is not an insult. Right? And it's the people who think we need therapy who actually need the therapy themselves because they're not open-minded to understand that people are different to them, that we're wired differently. If you can't accept the fact I'm different to you, then Jonathan, I've taken up rock climbing. Well done, Jonathan. Good for you. That's really good. It's very exhilarating as well. Right? And so asexuality is not a disease. It's not a disorder. It's not something that's wrong with people that needs fixing. It's a sexual orientation that's a lack of sexual attraction. And I have always been asexual, but I didn't realize it. But looking back at all my relationships, it's obvious. I never thought about sex. I can find a guy aesthetically hot and super attractive, but I'm not interested. If you was food repulsed, we would say it's fine. There are people that are repulsed by certain foods, right? There are people that are repulsed by certain foods. They don't have to even eat that food to know they're repulsed by it. I have actually eaten that food, if you like, because I've had sex, right? I've had good sex and I've had bad sex, right? That's beside the point. I'm asexual. I don't see why you need to force me to change my sexual orientation because you're not happy with it and uncomfortable with it. That is wrong that you're trying to push this on me to try and change me, right? I am asexual. I'm wired differently. I don't experience sexual attraction. If you don't accept that, that's your problem, not mine, right? This is an asexual channel. So if you're not happy, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, then go to another channel. Simples, you know? So I'm not changing. Well, I can't change my sexual orientation for anyone. No one can change their sexual orientation. You can't make someone be a different sexual orientation. Asexuality is not it's not something that you can just turn on and off, you know. And there's a lot of, like, you know, like asexuals have got a joke in the community that about cake, because cake is better than sex. Most asexuals love food more than they love sex. So we love our food a lot of the time, which is why I post a lot of food videos on this channel, you know? And so, right, I wish there was a cure for this issue. There isn't. It's not an issue. It's something beautiful. Asexuality or any sexual orientation is not an issue to be fixed. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my God, I don't have any mental issue around sex and love. Love is not the same as sex, and sex is not the same as love. You know, and the reason you're insulting me now is because you don't like what I'm saying. You're insulting me to control me and manipulate me into being something you wished I was, because you can't handle that. You can't handle it. You can't handle the fact I'm asexual, which has got nothing to do with you. I can be what I want, and I'm a total stranger to you. So, well, clearly it's an issue. What if all humanity had this issue? We wouldn't have kids and the next generations. One is, I don't want kids anyway, right? And I don't want to just make the species survive, right? I'm not interested in that. And everyone's sexuality is different. There'll always be some people that are heterosexual, just like there'll always be some people that are asexual. Asexuality has been around for absolutely years. And fair play to you, says Sean. Thank you. Asexuality has been around for years. Just no one put a name to it. And people are scared to say what they truly are. Right? But I'm not scared to say who I am. I'm not afraid to be asexual, because it's a beautiful thing. I don't have to have sex to be happy. I don't have to have sex to love someone. I don't have to have sex to care about someone. I don't have to have sex in order to have a relationship with someone, because I define the rules with the other person in the relationship, right? Only two people who should define a relationship are the people in that relationship, or more people if you're polyamorous. You know, no one should dictate the relationship, and people in the relationship are the ones that can define the relationship and what's in it, right? There's this big myth that sex is love and love is sex. There are tons of people out there having sex with people they do not love, right? So love is not the same. I agree, you don't have to do any of that to have a good relationship. Thank you in chat. For me personally, I needed to replace that other part of myself to feel whole as a human. Oh, for me personally, I needed to explore that other part of myself to feel whole as a human. Right, okay. When you say that other part of yourself, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I'm glad you agree that you don't have to have sex in order to have a relationship, because you don't. Exactly. There are many parts of ourselves to explore, says Jonathan. So, yeah, exactly. There are lots of nuances to relationships. The best types of relationships are based on strong emotional connection, honesty, being a team player and wanting to grow in the relationship together. You know, obviously, if a person loves sex and another person hates sex, they're not compatible. You just don't bother even having a relationship. If someone wants sex, the other person doesn't. Just incompatible, and you go and try and find someone who's compatible for you. So it's really important, though, people understand that asexuals can experience different types of attraction. Why is this relevant to you? Because 1% of the population, a recorded 1% of the population, is asexual. So this means like 1 in 100 people you meet is likely to be asexual. Probably you might know someone already, but they're not telling you. You might have a friend who's asexual, but they're too scared to tell you. Why? Because you might have a bad reaction to it and try to change them or say something's wrong with them, like we've had in this conversation, people trying to say there's something wrong with me when there's not. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. And you know, and so there's various reasons why people don't come out as asexual, because people want to fix them, change them, think something's wrong, they're a disease or an illness or anything like that. It's not. Asexuality is just a different type of attraction in which sexual attraction is lacking, right? So it's a normal part of some people's makeup. Some people don't experience sexual attraction, meaning we don't get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse. That's how we're wired, right? And that is to be embraced, right? That is to be embraced, because you could go around saying every sexual orientation is problematic. You know what I mean? People who love sex, you know, some people do sexually abuse others. This is a bad thing. But for some people who don't ever want, don't ever need or like sex, they're never going to go around sexually abusing someone, are they? Because they don't want it in the first place. They don't like it. They don't need it, right? so that it's beneficial to have some people on the planet that don't want, like, or need sex. It's beneficial, for example, for people who want a partner and they can't have sex for some other reason, such as they might have a disability that prevents them from having sex. They might have had an accident that prevents them from having sex. They might be impotent that prevents them having sex. Now, these people are not asexual, unless they are. It means obviously you can get asexuals who had accidents and stuff like you can get asexuals who are impotent as well. But impotency is not the same as asexuality. A lot of asexuals, they still have the physical capability of having sex. They just are not interested in it, right? So if we take the world population, right, not everyone's having sex. Even in heterosexual relationships, they can go for months or years not having sex, right? Just because they don't talk about it publicly doesn't mean to say it doesn't happen. And they still love their partner. Like, no one tells them, oh, you haven't had sex for whatever time. Do you know what I mean? They just still love each other. If they don't need sex, they don't need it, right? If not having sex is a big issue to them and they think it's a problematic thing, then they can seek therapy or help, right? But if someone's happy with not having sex, good for them, right? And so people need to make their own mind up in a relationship with someone if they are compatible or not, if their needs are going to be matched, right? Like I said, if someone's really, really loves sex, someone's not interested in sex, then they're not compatible, right? So you wouldn't put those people together. And it doesn't mean to say that people, can't decide different things in the relationship going forward, and like I said, there are people in the world that can't have sex who are not asexual, but those people deserve love and a relationship if they want one just as much as anyone else. That's where an asexual can be very beneficial. If you've got a person who's impotent, for example, and they've been impotent for years and they feel so lonely and lost and like, oh my God, I can't get anyone, because all the world's like sex craved, isn't there? And, they talk about sex and it's like the main basis and foundation for a lot of people's relationships, which is why a lot of people obviously end up splitting up, end up having affairs, end up having divorce and lots of stuff like this, amongst other things. It stands to reason that there are some people who still want a relationship despite the fact they can't have sex for another reason besides asexuality, right? So those people would welcome someone, I would have thought, who is asexual, who doesn't need sex, because it gives them an opportunity and chance for them to have a relationship with someone that they might not have been able to have otherwise, right? People that are impotent still deserve to be in a relationship without sex. If they can't have an erection, for example, and they can't have sex and it's been like that for years, what's the point in them like going on trying to force themselves to change physically, right? Oh, have Viagra, do this, have this operation, do that, see this doctor, see a therapist, for years or whatever, because there's something wrong with you because you can't have sex, right? If they got a medical condition that prevents them having sex, yeah, there's technically something wrong in the fact medically they can't have sex. But instead of trying to drill into the person there's something so bad about them because they can't do that, and they make them feel inadequate and like, they're not capable of having a relationship, instead of doing that and pushing that down their throats and brainwashing them into thinking that they're useless or hopeless in a relationship because they can't have sex, instead, why not allow the world to see all the beautiful asexuals? There's thousands of asexuals, by the way, around the globe. And, they have a chance then of having a loving, caring, committed relationship with someone who accepts them for who they are, who accepts them without the sex, who accepts the fact that they don't have to have sex. They don't have to worry about erections. They don't have to worry about forcing themselves to try and do something if it's not naturally coming to them. I mean, how many people actually diagnosed with impotency are actually, I do wonder, how much are they impotent? How much of those people just genuinely don't feel sexual attraction or are actually asexual? but people have forced them to believe that there's something medically wrong with them. You know, you could look at it from that angle. Loads of people will go, oh, there's something wrong with you because you're asexual. When actually I'm not wired to want sex or like it or need it. I'm asexual, I lack sexual attraction, and I love being asexual. I understand myself very well. I'm happy with who I am, right? But there's so many people out there that are impotent, that are being told all the time or made to feel that they're inadequate because they can't have sex and there's something wrong with them and they need to take this pill and that pill and they need to try this, that, and the other. Why keep pushing these people to do something if it's not happening? Why not just have someone come along and say, hey, you know, I'm asexual. I don't need the sex from you. You don't need to worry about being hard or having erections or whatever. You know, you don't need to worry about stuff like that because I have the power to be able to love without sex. And that's a beautiful thing. Same as people, for example, have been in road traffic accidents. Some of them are in a wheelchair. Some people who are wheelchair bound can have sex, as we know, but others can't. Some people find it too painful if they've had certain accidents, right? They can't have the sex, right? And they might even be in relationships, but they're trying to have sex and it's so painful for them. And it's really hard. And every day is very traumatic, right? So they might be experiencing that. But then if they know there's lots of asexuals in the world that can give them love without sex, they could have a happy, healthy, committed relationship without a sex and be accepted as they are now, as they are in that moment, right? And this is the beauty of knowing that asexuals exist. This is the beauty of understanding that relationships shouldn't be synonymous with having to have sex, right? You don't have to have sex in a relationship. This is what society tells you. This is what people are conditioned to believe, right? And where does it land? A lot of society lands with divorces a lot of the time, betrayals, affairs, people wanting the next thing on dating sites, flick, 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 hook up, flick, hook up, flick, hook up, leads to avoidancy of dealing with real intimate issues. And a lot of people use sex as a band-aid to cover up problems in a relationship, right? So the beauty of asexuality is if you take away the sex element, you then get to explore all the other types of intimacy in a relationship, such as, for example, the emotional connection, which is how asexuals usually love, for a deep emotional connection, such as the intellectual connection, shared hobbies, shared interests, shared pursuits, right? And it's just like, you know, a beautiful thing, right? We don't have to live by society's rules. We don't have to be who we're conditioned to be. We have to be who we're truly born to be and how we're made to be. So, it's really important that you get to understand yourself, that you get to understand your sexuality, right? Some people, for example, are sexually attracted to more than one gender, but they're scared to talk out about it because of what people will say to them, because of, you know, people being mean to them and people saying you can't be like that. No one dictates my life to me. No one tells me what to do. I do what I want myself, right? I'm a free agent. We have agency in this world, right? To be who we want to be, not what society dictates we should be, right? And it doesn't matter what other people think. At the end of the day, all that matters is the people in the relationship. But it's important, you know, asexuals can experience different types of attraction because on dating sites, for example, there are asexuals. And if you're a type of person that definitely wants sex, you might mistake some person's asexual attraction towards you as sexual attraction. Because if you don't know asexuality exists, if you're blind to reality, if you're, you know, like shut off, closed-minded, if you're not accepting the truth that asexuals exist and asexuality is real, then you're actually doing yourself a disfavor. Because if you go on dating sites with the concept in your head that everyone's heterosexual, everyone wants sex, and then you do talk to someone quite a long time and they're not open like I am about my asexuality and shove it all over my profile, which a lot of asexuals aren't, because of the reactions, for example, in some of this chat, then, you know, you are actually wasting your time, because you're not actually actively asking, like, what sexual orientation are you? Like, can I just check, for example, you're heterosexual? Because some people can be different types of sexuality. Some people are bisexual, but they have a preference for a certain gender. So you might be on a dating app liking, for example, a woman if you're a guy, and the woman might be bisexual and have a preference for her own gender, for example. So we need to be more accepting in the world and understanding of other people's sexual orientations, because it helps us then to see the world in a new light and see the world in different ways. It helps us to love each other in compassionate, kind, caring ways, right? And that's what we should be fostering, understanding and compassion towards each other, right? Asexuality is a sexual orientation that's just as valid as any other sexual orientation. Can you cut your own hair? Do you cut your own hair? The hair got cut by a hairdresser last time, apart from my fringe, which I cut myself, which grows 3 times as fast as the rest of my hair and never grows straight, usually. Even when a hairdresser cuts it, it's not straight. But that's got nothing to do with this chat. But no, I don't. I have cut my hair in the past, but a hairdresser did the rest of my hair. It's just my fringe grew long, so I trimmed it because I get headaches else. So you have a tough audience. Yeah, I have a very tough audience in this one. So they might not be here again, some of them, if they carry on. Jonathan, I don't know. So cultural expectations are powerful into making you believe things about yourself that don't apply, and this counts for many different things in life. I totally agree. So yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, it's really important. So yeah, I love that too. I cut my own hair too when I'm stressed. Yeah, stress, when you're stressed, it can be really difficult, can't it? But yeah, I don't know how we got onto hair cutting. Probably because my fringe goes everywhere, but I don't mind admitting that my fringe, look, it's just really thick. But I never dyed my hair. If we're getting onto hair, I never dye my hair, and I love my hair actually, and I like it to be different. I like it cut here and here. I don't like it down. I like it, like, to see my temples. Most guys have their temples showing. I'm not a guy, but I like to see my temples. I like that. I like being different, you know? So I've never dyed my hair in my life, and I love my hair. I have my hairbrush here, actually. So for all you people who are sensual out there watching this, you know, sensual attraction, you might like doing something like brushing hair. So in a relationship, one of the things I actually like is a guy brushing my hair. I've never told this before, I don't think, on my channel. But that's actually one of the really lovely sensual things I like. So most guys, they go, oh, do you want a massage? But no, I don't, because I have sensual attraction. But usually it's to the guy's upper body, right? And in the past, I've had guys brushing my hair. And I really love it, because that's like a sensual thing, right? So a lot of guys want to massage, and I'm like, no, because I don't want to take my clothes off, because I'm nudity repulsed, right? But some guys, they decide to brush my hair. And I think it's really nice, and I love it when a guy, I'm really getting attracted to myself doing this. I'm like, oh, Sandra, this is too attractive for you. This feels too nice. All right, I'm getting a bit obsessed with brushing my hair now, because it feels so good, you know, when you've got you know when you've got these little bobbly bits and they're on your hair and they're giving you a head massage at the same time. Like, for all you sensual people out there, do hair brushing. You know, it gives you goosebumps and it makes you feel very excited. So I have high levels of arousal, by the way, 0 sexual attraction. I just thought I'd put that out there. So you know what I mean. Yeah. Does brushing your hair give you an orgasm? No, I never get orgasms, thank God. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in orgasms at all. Even though I've had sex in the past, I've never orgasmed. I'm not interested. I can squirt, just for your information, but I'm not interested. I don't like the idea of a body being out of control. I like to be in control of my body. And from what I've understand of friends that have described an orgasm to me, and from what I know about it, then yes, I'm not interested. I like to be in control of my body and in control of what I allow into my body and what I do to it and stuff like that. So yeah, but hairbrushing is really nice. I can't believe I was like enjoying my hairbrushing then. But I love my hair. I mean, it's one of the things that really attracts me to myself. So can you have attraction to yourself? Just to put it out there. Yes, you can. I mean, some people are actually autosexual, where they actually sexually attracted to themselves, which I think is actually on the asexual spectrum. I think it comes under grey asexuality sometimes, or some people believe it does. But yes, so it's good to, I think, when, you know, with your hair is nice. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've always loved my hair, right? So in the past, I haven't liked every bit of me, but I've always loved my hair. I mean, my fringe is just annoying sometimes. I have to admit, my fringe is annoying because it doesn't go right. This bit goes longer. And even if the hairdresser cuts it, it still doesn't grow straight. Within a few weeks, it's just like, and it's 3 times, like, grows 3 times faster than the rest of my hair. And sometimes it looks like a shaggy dog's, and then at other times it looks really short, and then other times it looks crooked. So I just like, I don't worry too much about my fringe. I'm just like, well, if it looks decent, it does. If it doesn't, that's fine. But I do love my hair, you know, even if other people don't like it, I love my hair, right? And that's the thing, you know, like we can have attraction towards ourselves, or we can find ourselves attractive. Years ago, I didn't, but I've done a lot of work on myself to improve my self-confidence and self-esteem, right? And what do I do for work? I'm an author with my own book publishing imprint. I publish books for Asexuals, which I'm also a coach. I do some coaching as well. So yeah, you know, and I've done some public speaking on Asexuality. You can see on this channel. I've got a video of me talking at Oxford University. I've been on lots of podcasts and things. Jonathan, I've grown out my hair as well. I like it, although it does get in my eyes sometimes. Yeah, that's why I'm always trying to cut my fringe, because it kind of goes down here, and I get headaches. So what did you do before that? I was in management, actually. Well, I helped redundant workers get back into work, and I was also in retail management for years as well. So yeah, used to be in furniture management. I was a manager. I've been in management for over 7 years. In my past, retail. I've been in retail for the majority of my life. So yes, manager. That's what I used to be. So sometimes I was a consultant, sometimes I was advisor, and other times I was manager. But actually, in my retail career, I've been in management over 7 years. So I think I've seen a sign of you in Birmingham. Well, if you have, that'll be great. I haven't actually been to Birmingham for years. So yeah. So, but I have. You might have like. I've been on lots of, because I talk about asexuality, you know, that's my speciality, in case you hadn't already noticed that. Since 2015, I've been doing this channel. So these are bestsellers on Amazon, the Asexual Perspectives book, which has got 47 asexual stories. So I interviewed 46 different asexuals across the globe and the asexual spectrum for this book. And I have interviewed myself in the book by the readers. And so that was published in 2017, but it still sells to this day. And then I published Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life. And I published that last year and was a bestseller. So I'm really, really proud of myself. And I own my own book publishing imprint called Quirky Books. So yeah. And I also wrote a book about fibromyalgia. This is an unseen disability I've got. So fibromyalgia is a chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscles of the body, but I manage it really, really well. So I wrote a book to help other people, you know, on how to manage fibromyalgia, to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier like a superhero rock star. That's a mouthful of a title. Yeah, so people type in fibromyalgia self-help handbook. That's the title. And then the subtitle is how to manage fibromyalgia, to have less pain, more energy, and feel happier like a superhero rock star. And this one sells as well. So, yeah, on Amazon. So I designed the cover myself, superhero. And this is me in my Ace Fibro Girl outfit. So I have a real superhero outfit. And yeah, I love eating, as I told you, I'm in a Chinese restaurant there. So yeah, that's my Ace Fibro Girl outfit. And if you look at my videos on my channel, you can see me in my Ace Fiber Girl outfit skipping a superhero skip. There's a short video, superhero skip, me running like a superhero skipping down the quayside. I wouldn't call it running, actually. I'd call it skipping. Yeah, so ace is the slang term or nickname for asexual. You're funny, thank you. I like to add some humor. But yeah, this book is told in a superhero style. The whole book is split into chapters told. It's a very serious topic, but it's actually a personal development book in disguise as well, because it's an autobiographical book. So it basically tells you everything I do to manage my life and to reduce the pain in it. So, you know, it doesn't, I'm not saying to people I can cure them, because there's not meant to be a cure for fibromyalgia. I'm saying this is to reduce the pain and be a more energetic person. I'll check it out. Thank you. Yeah, this is on Amazon. Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. You just type in that. Is it backwards like manga? No, I don't know if you see it as backwards on the screen, because on my phone it seems to be putting things backwards, but it isn't backwards like manga, no. But hopefully you can see these titles. Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. You can type this into Amazon now if you want. You'll see it come up. Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual as well. And then Asexual Perspectives. Oh, you can get the top as well. Sorry, I forgot. If you want to get Diary Confessions top, look. This is a merchandise I got on Amazon that I sell. This is actually my face on this one, which is the cover from the book. Look. So I designed my own merchandise as well. So, but this on here says bold, be authentic, be you. Because that's what I really, really, you know, can't say more about. You know, be bold, be authentic, be you is really important, especially in 2025. Yeah, the text is backwards on the stream. Oh, yeah, sorry. There's nothing I can do about that, though. It's really weird. My phone keeps coming out with backwards stuff, you know? Like, when I look at it, it looks backwards as well. But it's not actually backwards in real life. On my laptop, it's not backwards. It's something with my phone. It's strange. I actually took some little short videos and some photographs of this book, but it was backwards when I saw them. And I'm like, is that just me? Or is it actually people? But yeah, so I'm sorry if you can't see this, but if you can read backwards, it's really good. I can actually read backwards. Viewers just need to watch the stream in a mirror. This is good. This is good. The entertainment factor is important. So yeah, just watch it in a mirror or read backwards. People can read backwards, can't they? Have you ever seen those posts on Facebook where it has text that's backwards? It says, if you are reading this, you are among the X amount of % of the population that can read like this. Or if you read this, you're a very intelligent person. So if you Google quirky books or Sandra Bellamy, then you'll see this book come up. Oh, yes, I'm Google verified now. Oh, I just shouted that out, and people probably wonder what's going on, because I live in my own flat, but there's people above me and below me. So yeah, I'm Google verified now. You can see my they've actually, Google's given me the official author title as well, which obviously I am. I have to prove I am, you know. And they've got my books on their Google. They got my fibromyalgia and my asexual perspectives on their Google books, and they've also got my mission, my asexuality mission. Thank you. Someone says, well done. Thank you. My asexuality mission, which is to get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again, which is why I do what I do. I've been helping asexuals since 2015. So, you know, I'm really just so excited. And they got it the right way up on Google. So if you Google Sandra Bellamy, you'll see there were some of the podcasts I've been on as well. Although it has come up with some of my old stuff I used to do before I helped asexuals. So I haven't changed some of it. So you'll see stuff about beat redundancy blues. I got a business award actually in 2013 for my business called Beat Redundancy Blues. I've still got the website actually. I haven't updated it for ages. But I used to help people as well with their social media. I forgot to say that. So I did as a self-employed basis. I helped people with that. Well, I helped a business owner with his social media, and also I helped a couple of individuals. And I used to work for the NHS for a time as well, teaching people how to use social media to recover from mental ill health. So to get better using social media, which worked actually. One of the students I had, you can see her recommendation of me on LinkedIn, actually. Because I gave her private tuition as well, one-on-one afterwards, that she paid for social media training. But I worked for the NHS for a time for a recovery learning community, and I taught people how to use social media to recover from ill health, predominantly blogging. So I started my original blog. So I got a quirkybooks.wordpress.com blog. That's my very original blog, before I knew I'm asexual. So before I started helping asexuals, and that was to find my writer's voice and to help other writers to write well. And 2010, I started that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm too young for it to be 2010. That's like 14 years ago I started that, I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was a long time ago. But I wanted my book publishing company to be called Quirky Books back then. It wasn't until 2017 I got that dream come true. So 7 years later. So I know I'm diverting off attraction here, but never give up on your dreams. That's so important. And that includes, like, if you're asexual and trying to find the love of your life, 15 years ago. All right, thank you. What year are we in now? 2025. Oh my God. Yeah, we are. I was thinking 2024 we're still in, wasn't I? 2025. Thank you for correcting me. My maths isn't my strong point either. But yes, I was forgetting we're already in 2025. So you're an inspiration. Oh, thank you. Lots of love to you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I was a speaker at the UK Asexuality conference in 2018. You can look at that on my channel. I've been on Lifeology Radio, which had over 3 million listeners to my episode alone, because they have over 3 million listeners per episode. That's a big radio station in the United States. I was on Dr. Al's radio station in America. He's huge in America, Dr. Al. You can Google him. Sense of Soul podcast I've been on. I've been on BBC Radio. There's actually the episode on BBC Radio is on this channel. That was in 2017. Graham Torrington interviewed me. So yeah, that was really good. I've actually been on the Jeremy Vine show. I don't have a recording of that. But yeah, I was on the Jeremy Vine show talking about asexuality. Jeremy Vine show is a big show in the UK. It's very popular, as is the BBC. I've been on FemMedic website as an expert talking about asexuality, basically. That's very, well-known health site, FemMedic. I've been in the Daily Mirror newspaper, Daily Star newspaper about asexuality. And yeah, so I've been on quite a lot of stuff. Jonathan, it's scary. It's 2025. I kind of wish we could say somewhere between 2010 and 2019. So back when it was still stormy, I can't remember, on Jeremy Vine show. It was quite a long time ago on the Jeremy Vine show. I actually phoned in because one of my friends said, you should be on the show, Sandra. They're talking about asexuality, and I didn't know. So I didn't have any chance to prepare for that. And I literally just phoned in and said, hey, I'm asexual, and what I did. So it was a number of years ago now, but I can't remember. So I can't remember what year it was in, but it was a long time ago. So yeah, but it was really good to be on there. And I've been on a number of other things like Lifeology Radio as well. I think I've mentioned Sense of Soul. I've been on a number of them. You can see a lot of them on my channel and clips of them. So yeah, I've been on quite a lot of stuff promoting asexuality, talking about asexuality, because I think it's important. There's a lot of people that don't understand asexuality. They really don't get it, because it's hard for people to understand something if it's not who they are, if they have been conditioned to believe that, heterosexuality, for example, is the only sexuality. And if they believe that sex is a normal part of everyday life for everyone as a blanket statement. I mean, it's true for a lot of people, but it isn't true for everyone, and that's where things go wrong, because there are people on dating sites, like I explained, who do experience different types of attractions. For example, if they're asexual, but you could mistake those attractions for sexual attraction unless you ask them. unless people are able to feel free about coming out about their asexuality. So we don't have mismatches of sexual orientations that are just not compatible. I mean, two different types of sexual orientations can be compatible, but it's about their needs, if their needs are going to be met in the relationship or not. So that's essentially what it is. Is the person going to match my needs? Is this person going to, and it depends what those needs are. Jonathan, this chat this evening was clean evidence of that point. People not understanding. Yes, there's people that are not understanding asexuality at all. Well done for making a successful career. You're a beautiful woman. Well done. Thank you. My hand can meet my knees. Yeah, so yes, there is masturbation, exactly. So some sexuals that are in relationships with asexuals, I mean, some asexuals masturbate, right? And it can be a good thing for self-love, self-care, and self-appreciation and self-joy, right? People don't need to have sex from other people. People don't need to have pleasure from other people, as a blanket statement, Same Artie, says Jonathan. Yeah, exactly. Some asexuals do masturbate. And sometimes you can reach your own parts and pleasure yourself far better than anyone else could. Because you know what makes you feel good, don't you, down there? Do you know what I mean? Like, it has to be said, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you can pleasure yourself, if you're very self-reliant and can take care of yourself, then why do you need someone else anyway to pleasure you? Don't. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it's like, sometimes you can do a better job of it yourself. I used to know a gay guy who actually was very bad about my asexuality. When I first told him I'm asexual, he used to be my friend, and then he just went all weird on me because he's a very highly sexual gay guy. And he used to talk about masturbation, saying, he used to have like loads of different lovers or one night stands or whatever. He was into all that, totally different to who I am. But, he used to say, I can pleasure myself far better than any of the guys can anyway. Doesn't matter what they do, how much sex I'm having with guys, I can still do a better job of it myself through masturbation. So, you know what I mean? And some asexuals, or with sexuals, some sexuals will masturbate themselves in relationships with asexuals if they want to relieve their arousal and not have sex. So that is something they can do, And there's this really weird thing where everyone, or the majority of people, seem to think you have to watch porn to masturbate. You don't actually have to watch porn to masturbate too. So if you don't want to get addicted to porn, but you still want to masturbate, you can actually just masturbate without porn. You don't need it to get aroused. You can get aroused by self-pleasure, by finding out actually what makes your body feel pleasured. You don't have to have a visual stimulation. Some people like that, but you don't have to have it. It's very important. I say this because everyone thinks you have to do that. And also, you can come without intercourse, which we haven't gone into. You can come without intercourse, right? And so you don't have to have intercourse. Even in a relationship, you can be passionately kissing someone, and through body movements, even with clothes on, you can come without having sex, without having sexual intercourse. Do you know what I mean? So this is not talked about, but it's true. And people just think, I can only come with sex. It's not true. All people seem to believe, well, the majority of people seem to believe that you have to watch porn to masturbate to and come. You don't have to at all. You don't have to. So, you can just feel in your own body and enjoy it if you get the sensations right and practice different techniques. Do you know what I mean? It's actually better than, I don't watch porn. I'm personally porn repulsed, right? I'll just put that out there. But I know there's still a lot of asexuals that do watch porn. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? There's quite a lot that do. But I personally don't like porn. I'm very anti-porn, personally, for me. I can't stand it. I don't like BDSM either, but I got a friend who does love some BDSM stuff, So, just because I don't like it doesn't mean to say I can't accept other people liking it, but I hate it. I'm very anti it in my own self, right? Yeah. So, but I know that I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with a guy who's watching porn. Artie, I can make people come by whispering, etc. to come hard. That's 100% mental. Yeah, I can imagine that. Is that meant to be a joke or is that meant to be a real thing? Because you can actually make someone come through saying sexy stuff to them. But usually quite a lot of people need the touching as well to do both. Have both, I mean, to come. But some people can come by mental stimulation alone. But, often people need a touch as well as a thing. But yeah, if some people do come through when they talk about sexual stuff and stuff, even if they're not having sex. But with asexuals, like I said earlier, we can experience different types of attraction. And one of the things that's very difficult for some asexuals is if they experience sensual attraction, right? People can mistake that for sexual attraction. So if you're dating someone and they're scared to tell you they're asexual, which obviously can happen, which you can tell why by this chat tonight, with some people in chat, when they're made to feel scared to come out because they'll get harassed or put down or belittled or told they need therapy and something's wrong with them, it's not normal, it's it's an illness, blah blah blah, and all the rest of the rubbish that it's not. Then if an asexual experiences sexual attraction, and even romantic and aesthetic, they could be kissing someone, doing some touching, but they might not want sex. But traditionally, in like psychology, body language, for example, people who are doing that type of thing are seen as someone who's indicating through their body language that they would want sex. But because asexuals are different and the way we're wired is different, it means some of us who don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever could just enjoy the sensuality, the aesthetics, and the romantic attraction, experience all those things, but don't want sex. But to a sexual person who's not understanding asexuality, or doesn't want to believe it exists, right? They will misinterpret that as wanting sex, because psychologists would say, yeah, there's all these indications that person wants sex because they're touching you, they're kissing you, they're looking into your eyes maybe and smiling because they like you aesthetically. So that could give the wrong message or signal to some people. But the point of a relationship is you need open, honest communication, no matter what sexuality you are, and especially in relationships with asexuals, because you need to understand what types of attractions that asexual is experiencing at that time and how they feel, because what they're displaying might be mistaken for sexual attraction when it's not actual sexual attraction. I thought I was heterosexual for years. I really did, because I was conditioned to believe that, My parents didn't know any different. They didn't know about asexuality. It's not their fault that they thought I was heterosexual. But when I told them I'm asexual, they're like, the second time I phoned them up and told them, like, oh, it makes sense now that why you are the way you are. And they've actually been more understanding about my sexual orientation since I've told them I'm asexual. They understand it because I've been nudity repulsed for years. And they didn't understand that. And I had a boyfriend years ago. I was so, aesthetic attracted to him, but I couldn't bring myself to have sex with him. And bear in mind, my parents are no sex before marriage, but they couldn't understand why I felt that way. But now they do, So not joking, I like visual and hearing play sensations is the greatest of carnal-ish. Touching is boring. I could speak with you all night. So interesting and kind of cheeky in a non-sexual way. You're kind of cute. Thank you. Yeah, I can be a sexy asexual. I am a sexy asexual, which people think that just because someone's asexual, they can't be sexy or hot, but they can be. Because other people can think I'm sexy. Other people can think I'm sexually attractive, even if I am not interested in having sex. And I do sometimes feel sexy, even though I'm asexual, because I like my energy. I like my bubbly personality. I do get attracted to myself in those ways, Like you're the best thing to do is be your best friend to yourself, right? And to understand yourself and enjoy yourself. And years ago, I didn't like myself. Now I love myself, Jonathan, my brain is definitely more responsive to auditory stimuli. This is really interesting. Talking non-sexually here, I find intense music allows me to tap into a bottomless source of physical energy for exercise. Oh, Jonathan, that's a very good insight. Yeah, it's a very good insight. So I had to do my accounts this week. The counts have been finished now, and some people might be like, why did you leave your counts till the last minute?" Right? There's a number of reasons I could give you, which probably you think are excuses and may very well be. But anyway, shit happens, excuse my language, and I didn't get them all finished, but I have done now, right? But my point is I actually had to listen to music, and I was listening to interviews of like different, because I do this channel, so I learn a lot of knowledge that then I can impart to you. Anyway, so I was watching things like big long chat shows, like in-depth topics, like intellectual conversations, and also dating relationships videos I was watching. But I was kind of listening to them whilst I was doing my accounts, and music I had on, because I find doing accounting, it's hard for me to get into it. I really procrastinate. I'm a procrastinator about accounts, I have to say. But once I get into it, it's very intense for me. And because I earn little bits of income here, there, and everywhere. I don't make tons of money at what I do, but that's not the point. That's not why I do it. But because I earn a little bit here and there, it's actually harder than someone who earns bulk money from just one source, and it makes it very difficult because there's bits here and bits there. So my point being is, by listening to something in the background, it gave me a lot more stimuli to be able to feel better doing what I was doing, because it's kind of like I was having things around me, listening to different things that were actually making me feel good at the same time. And music certainly helps me to feel good. So Jonathan says, I often jog to work about 15 minutes to the pace of the music. That's really good. So I have been going back to playing younger music again, because sometimes I get lost. I lose myself, and I get a bit disconnected because I got a really young soul. And so lately I've been playing Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee is like my favourite artist, apart from Kylie Minogue. I've always liked her. But Daddy Yankee is like my top played artist usually on YouTube. And I hadn't heard of anything from him for a little while, not much. Puerto Rican he is, as far as I remember and know. And even though he's in his 40s, he's still very attractive to me, because he's foreign, but he's not like younger foreign guys like I would usually like. But he looks really young, right? And I love his clothes. And he's got a really nice smile and everything. I've got close attraction for him, probably a lot. And I like the way he looks. And anyway, I was listening to some of his concerts as well while I was doing on YouTube, while I was doing my accounts. And his music is really vibrant and energetic. And when I listen to a lot of Spanish and that type of music, it just makes me feel so good and younger and energetic and vibrant. So music is very important. Arty. I went through a phase where I learned to come through breath control. That's intense. Yeah, it's very interesting when people search this stuff on the internet, if they want different ways to like masturbate and different things to help them to come, for example. They can explore a lot of different things on their own. And I think, like if you're single particularly, that's one of the benefits of being single, isn't it? You can explore what you want without feeling guilty or bad, or taking that type of thing away from your relationship, because you might not want to do that with someone else if you're doing a lot with yourself, if you know what I mean. So Jonathan, I'm currently procrastinating washing up and going to bed right as we speak. I've got to be up at 5 a.m. in the morning, because to get ready for the first phase of the new boiler coming. I've been without hot water for a long time now in my flat. No hot water since I've lived here, but it was lukewarm before, and then no hot water completely when the boiler electrics blew up. So Artie, I used to do essay with music, very loud, all-consuming music, so I can laser focus on writing. That's really good. Music really helps. Jonathan, for me, my jam is random covers of popular songs. That and EDM stuff. Oh, EDM stuff. That's good. Yeah. I think like sensuality and the senses is very important. And I think, well, I talk about like in my fibromyalgia self-help handbook, I talk about music and what we consume in terms of listen to, obviously watch and everything. It can really affect our mood. So if you want to reduce pain in your life, you should listen to music that makes you feel upbeat, inspired, happy, positive, puts you on a good vibe, raises your vibration up, raises your energy levels up, because that way you reduce like a pain in your life. Do you know what I mean? Arty, music is amazing. Music is incredible. And sometimes I start listening to music, but then I have to catch myself, like, what are you listening to and how is it making you feel? because sometimes I can go off on a tangent and I'll listen to music that maybe I wouldn't have listened to for a while. But I think it's important to check in with yourself, like, what is it I'm listening to? What are the lyrics? And how you use my name, Artie. I did indeed. So normally you say someone in chat. Yeah, so it's very difficult for me to see people's names on the phone screen. It's very quick, and it's very hard for me to see it. Jonathan is one of my regular viewers, so I know Jonathan from a long time ago. He's a regular here, so immediately I pick him out because me and him have conversed a lot in chat on my chat shows before. So because I saw Jonathan write Artie in there, then I knew that was the right name to use. So everyone's helping each other out in chat who's on a nice wavelength, if you know what I mean. I know some of the chat stuff earlier was not great, but you're honoured. Yeah, I do like to use people's names a lot, but I used to live stream from my laptop. I'm trying to do it on my phone now because YouTube's promoting vertical live streaming to reach more people. You can say Dean. RT Dean. RTD2. Sorry. I'm thinking of Star Wars now. RTD2 instead of R2D2. I'm getting it, it's been like 1 hour and 20 minutes now in chat, and I think I'm starting to get a bit delirious. But there we go. Delirious after a while. Plus, I've had a lack of sleep, which is I haven't been able to live stream for ages because I had to go to sleep. But that's cute. R2D2 is cute, isn't he? If he's a he. I have my own Hoover called Raj. I don't know if you knew that. Jonathan, reaching more people is a blessing and a curse. Personally, I prefer landscape live streams as it allows for background play. Yes, reaching more people is a blessing and curse. Yes. So if we're diving into that, it is a lot harder personally for me to live stream on a phone because the chat goes a lot quicker. There's a lot more people watching, and also there's a lot more trolls that come in chat and people who are not pleasant in chat. I banned one person obviously tonight. But like, I want to reach more people with asexuality, and that means talking to people who have never heard of asexuality as well before. And YouTube unfortunately doesn't promote live streaming very much on a laptop, right? I've been doing live streams on my laptop for years, but they've really been pushing vertical live streams. And so I thought this year I really want to do vertical live stream, but it is more difficult for me. It's more distracting because I can't see everyone's messages because the chat, because it goes so quickly a lot of the time. So I can't read everything people are saying. Plus, it's like I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm saying and give people valuable information and knowledge, for example, about asexuality. And then I see people in my chat tonight talking about my hair. It's like, and random stuff, and some people not being very pleasant in chat, right? But if I let that distract me and just focus on chat, then I'm not focusing on giving anyone knowledge about asexuality and helping people. Do you have a business email or business Instagram? I have Asexualise official. So Asexualise is my brand name. Asexualise, ASEXUALISE official. So that's my title because there's someone else that's put Asexualise on Instagram that's not me, and I have a feeling it's one of my guys I dated previously years ago who decided to. I don't know for sure, and it hasn't got many people following that account, but I have a feeling I know who it is, or someone I dated for a short period online. I wasn't in a relationship with them, but anyway, I think they might have done that. So it's at Asexualise official is my Instagram. So my business email is asexualise@gmail.com, which can be found in the description of this. So yeah, Jonathan, well done for putting yourself out there despite the trolls, spammers online. Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that because it's really hard because I don't want to lose the people I've, in my community. I've been here for years. I don't want to lose them, but at the same time, I need to, be talking about asexuality more to reach a really much more broader audience. And it's hard for me because I am going to come up doing that. I'm going to come up against a lot more people who who are not so nice, you know? And some of those people, like, I have blocked one person tonight, but I can't, I can't go around like vetting every single comment because I haven't got time to do that. I would be sat here just constantly doing that, and that's not what I'm here for. So I have to ignore some of the comments, But unfortunately, good comments then get lost in there. So if I've lost your good comment, your kind comment, if you've subscribed, because I know I've had people who subscribe from this, please do subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell icon so you don't miss an episode. If you subscribed and I've missed you saying you've subscribed, I want to thank you now because it's really important, A subscription really helps raise awareness of asexuality. It helps get the channel noticed. I do these asexual live streams. I usually like to do them every night, but I haven't been able to because this month is very fraught for me. Since I've moved into my new home, there's multiple things, a succession of things that's constantly gone wrong to the point where I've been in tears, to be quite honest with you, and it's been very difficult for me. So I've had to put other things first because, like, you know what I mean? It's like very difficult. I've had workmen in here quite a lot. I've got literally the first day of the boiler installation is coming tomorrow, but that's going to be done in 2 parts. If you didn't already know, the boiler here had tons of problems with it. This is cutting a long story very short. I've not had proper hot water since my tenancy agreement from October last year, October the 23rd, my tenancy. I had some tepid water for a while. Then it kept just running cold. They replaced lots of parts. Gas leaked, had to have emergency services out. Obviously, that could have killed me. And then when they were trying to repair the boiler again, the electrics blew up on the boiler, like whoosh. You know when you hear petrol, like in a movie or whatever, you hear petrol going up in flames. It was that type of noise. Luckily, it was just quick, but it leaked carbon monoxide. So it could have killed me or the guy who's working on it, who's a gas safety approved engineer. And so I have been without hot water and no central heating. I've currently got a oil radiator they lent me, oil heater, but they're a lot more expensive. My electricity bill has soared up. So I haven't been going out as much as I would usually like to do. I've injured myself as well. It wasn't my fault. So I've got a back injury that I'm still recovering from last year, which I was doing well at, but that's got worse again because I got a foot injury now. So I've been going to hospital, been doctor's appointments, and it's just there's loads that goes on behind the scenes here that you would be like astonished at. But basically, it's like non-stop, just doing things behind it. So having several moderators in chat during streams might help things. That way you can focus on the message you want to deliver. Yeah, I don't have anyone to be a moderator of my channel. So there's no one I know that would be a moderator of my channel. So I can only do that if I know people. Years ago, I used to have a moderator, but then out of my life. So unfortunately, I mean, it's good they're out of my life, but unfortunately, they betrayed my trust. So they deceived me for a number of years. I won't go into who that was, but if you know who the moderator was before, I was friends with them for a very long time. So I won't go into who that is because I want to protect their privacy if you don't know who it is. And you might not know either, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is that person's not in my life anymore. So I don't have the money to pay for someone like that, most of the stuff I do for Asexuals I do for free, but I've had to cut down on the software I use because I haven't got the money for it. Especially this flat is £100 dearer than my last flat. It's more in council tax, more in water rates. So it's a lot of money living here now. And not to mention the extra electricity bills I've had. I don't want to go into all my personal stuff, but you know what I mean. I don't even have any moderators but myself. So I can remove someone, but it requires me to go down, look at them, go down to remove button, remove them. I don't want to interrupt all my live streams. And if I removed everyone that said horrible comments, I'll be just forever removing people. So you know what I mean. I don't have anyone that would be a moderator. So you have to have someone that's willing to do that and that they're willing to be on my live streams with me. But bear in mind, especially next month, I'll be going back to hopefully live streaming every night. And I can't do it at a guaranteed time either because my life is so most of the time I like to live stream usually between 11 and midnight or between 11 and 1 a.m. Those are my ideal times to live stream. But you know what I mean? Most people are not necessarily awake by then. And they would have to be in my live streams with me at all that time. You know what I mean? And unless someone wants to pay a lot of money for me to get a moderator to sit there for 1 to 2 hours every night, 7 days a week doing that, which would cost a lot of money. If someone wants to donate that money every week, then sure, I can get someone. But if people are not prepared to do that, then it's a no-go, isn't it? It's definitely something I can't afford. Do you know what I mean? So I've had to get rid of some software this year. And there's another tool that I really want to keep, because in order to do interviews with other people, like I did an interview recently with another asexual person who I've known for a very long time on this channel. I use Zoom, which records it automatically for you. But at the moment, I can't even afford to get the new Zoom subscription. So my domain names are going up in price, and I can't afford to get the new Zoom subscription, which starts at the beginning of March. So I'm going to have to cancel that if I can't get it. And that's one of the tools I really want to keep. But I have spent a lot more money in software over the last few months, including my own money, not just business money. A lot more of my own money I plowed into that, which is to help me cut my longer videos like these live streams into some short videos. You might have seen them on my channel now. They're like little shorts with colours. But I still have to use the editing tool usually to edit them myself. So that takes quite a long time. It's like an AI bot that picks out, it's meant to train to pick out bits of my long videos like this. So just snippets, but it gets it wrong a lot of the time. What I want to say, what's important. So I have to go in there and do it myself. Jonathan. Oh, so first of all, Artie said bad landlord. Yes, the letting agency landlord has been a nightmare with my home. I'm just hoping they get it sorted, you know, but it is not good. There's been loads of problems here. There's still problems. There's more problems than the boiler. I've had to report the fact that there's strips around the windows that are, you know, coming out of the window, basically, which is probably why there's condensation, puddles of water and mold growing up the windows. There's a squeaky toilet. The extractor fan was a new extractor fan because the other one was faulty. Only been in there a couple of weeks. That's got a problem with it again. You know what I mean? It's just constant. But you know what I mean? It's been very bad for my mental health, and not great. So I've had to be off here more times than on it because I've had workmen coming in and out. I've had so many problems and issues. It's been very upsetting for me. I've had to catch up on paperwork and stuff, but I couldn't do a lot of work for it and even counts for a long time because I just had workmen in and out all the time. And I'm going to have a workman in my home first thing in the morning. It's going to be 2 days to put a boiler in because they've got to go up on the roof and put the flute through. I know I'm digressing here, but yes. So it's hard, you know. It's tough, you know. I help asexuals, but a lot of the time I'm using my own money to help asexuals, and people don't realize that, you know, that I don't make a ton of money from what I do. I do it because I like helping asexuals, and I honestly believe it's my sole purpose and life purpose to help asexuals. Artie, I'm sorry to hear. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, most people know that it's hard to make a full-time living from writing. So luckily I have some other money, but it's still really difficult. Jonathan, thank you for all the hard work. Thank you. Yeah, like you say, live stream at different times does make things tricky. Like you say, Jonathan, you're only able to catch a few live streams when you happen to be free. Exactly. So the benefit of me live streaming at different times is it means people in different countries can get to see me, you know. If I just live stream, so a lot of channels, they do regular shows or regular videos at a set time, which I still think is good, but I don't know of any other asexual channel that does regular live streaming. I mean, I haven't been doing it as regularly as I usually would, but I don't know any other channel that does. And that's like a unique point of this channel, is I do a late night. Well, it's not always late night, but usually late night. I do a chat show anyway. Usually I like it to be daily. But I plan to get back to hopefully a routine becoming the beginning of February. So it's much better routine, right? But the benefit of me doing it at different times is I'm consistent usually in random times, but is that people from different countries get to connect with me. Jonathan, I didn't think of international audience benefits. Good point. Thank you. Yeah, because people all over the world watch this channel. I mean, the top 3 countries that usually watch this channel are America, United Kingdom, and India. Those are the 3 channels, my top 3 channels. So people from the Philippines watch, people from Australia watch, you know, people all over the world watch, because I look at my analytics. and see where people are. But the top 3 countries are United States, United Kingdom, and then India, right? Sometimes they fluctuate. India's been top before, by the way. I happen to like Indian guys, in case no one knew that. I talk about it usually all the time. So I have attraction. So if we're going back to attraction, just in case you didn't know, I have usually very high aesthetic attraction towards younger Indian guys and romantic attraction. They're my top attractions. So for Indian guys, because I have Indian guys usually asking me, so why are you attracted to Indian guys? Like Indian guys think it's so bad that I'm attracted to Indian guys. I find that hilarious. It's like, how can you possibly be attracted to Indian guys when they're an Indian guy? I'm thinking, is it really that bad to be attracted to Indian guys when it must be, if the Indian guys are saying it themselves? So, I just have my top aesthetic attraction for Indian guys, but not unless they're clean shaven usually, and loads of them like beards because I'm beard repulsed. Jonathan, I was wondering whether there was a connection between that and why India is one of the top countries for viewership. Yeah, because a lot of Indian guys I've come across on dating sites, I've talked to them, and I've said about my channel. Some guys who I've dated in the past, no doubt, watch this channel. Some of them are hidden users because I block them because they're exes or ex people I've dated, and I won't, I don't want them coming in comments and saying things on my channel, especially when I know they're not good guys. So some of them I haven't blocked because there's some guys I just met on dating sites and told them about the channel. But the ones that I know that wouldn't be in my interest to, have them on this channel. But one of them, he's created more than one channel just so he could watch me. But he's given up, thank God, now of being commenting. He used to create a new channel to comment on my channel. So yeah, because I like Indian guys and I talk a lot about Indian guys on this channel, that's why India is one of the top countries. I'd date you, but I'm too white. You're too white. Oh, bless you. My last long-term relationship, he was British guy, but my top attraction. So when we talk about attraction, I know really strongly my attraction. So my top aesthetic attraction is Indian guys. Then my second usually is Pakistani. Third is Bangladesh. Fourth is Sri Lankan. Sometimes they can vary. Sometimes I get attracted to Bangladeshi guys. And it used to be Indian, Bangladesh, then Middle Eastern. But now I think it's Indian, Pakistani, Bangladesh, Sri Lankan. Yeah, probably in that order. But that's my top 4 attractions. I love coloured skin. I think it's so beautiful. And I have this soul belief that I've been with an Indian guy in a past life because I believe in reincarnation, which we haven't gone into. But you can be attracted. Well, I feel like I can be attracted to the guys and I've known them in a past life, or I have a guy in my past life. I believe I was with an Indian guy in a past life. I really I don't even been with more than one Indian guy in a past life, but I believe I've been with an Indian guy in a past life, or more than one Indian guy. I don't even know if the past years ago. I don't want to be moving to India in this life. I don't even want to visit India. I don't fly on a plane. I'm not interested in that. And I'm very different and opposite to Indian culture. I'm opposite to my own culture a lot of the time as well. But you know what I mean? But I have the top attraction for them. Jonathan, as an arrow, I'll take the dried fruit version of a date. What's the dried fruit version of a date? Jonathan, I'm so interested in that. So arrow is short for aromantic, which means Jonathan lacks romantic attraction as well as sexual attraction because he's asexual as well. So you are asexual as well, aren't you, Jonathan? I have got that bit right. You can correct me just in case. So obviously there's some aromantic people that are not asexual. But dried fruit version of a day. So with me, it's really difficult because I do experience high aesthetic attraction, romantic attraction, and I really love kissing Indian guys. If they've not got facial hair, I'm not into facial hair at all. It really puts me off. Jonathan, a date is a type of dried fruit. Dad joke, couldn't resist. Oh yeah, I didn't get that one. I'll take the dried fruit version of a date. Oh right, I thought... That's hilarious. Of course, there's a dried fruit called a date, but I was just thinking when you said you'll take the dried fruit version of a date, I was thinking you would just be sat there, I don't know, like shriveled up like a prune or something, saying I'm really not into sex. Something like that. That's what I thought you meant by you'll take the dried fruit version of a date. I thought it meant you actually would go on a date, but you wouldn't really be interested in a person, and you'd be shriveled up like a prude or something. Sounds fun too. That's hilarious. That's really funny. But I'm a hyper romantic and a hyper kisser, and I experience so much attraction towards certain guys, and it's just annoying. Right, I was in Love Life Club because I've joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club. In case you didn't know, he's the world's #1 dating coach. He's on YouTube with over 3 million subscribers. So I'm getting first-hand coaching from the top guy on YouTube, the top guy in the world. Actually, he's been doing it for over 17 years. That's helping people with dating and relationships, and also confidence as well, which is really good. And there was a guy, a new guy in the Love Life Club, right? He's really young and foreign. Short dark hair, clean shaven, the time I like. And I saw him, I thought, oh my God, he looks so sexy. And I'm thinking, sexy is not a word you'd usually use because you're asexual, Sandra. And I was going, this is a conversation I was having in my head. And I was thinking, well, just because I call him sexy doesn't mean to say that I want to have sex with him. I mean, he's hot aesthetically looking. He's really gorgeous looking. That's what I mean. I thought I still, even now when I think about him, I still definitely don't want sex with this guy. But he is very, very aesthetically hot looking, really, really beautiful looking. And I'm like, oh my God, he's in the Love Life Club. He's a new member because there's most people think there's just women in that club, but there's guys as well. So I had to comment on his post and welcome him, didn't I? We got things in common as well. He likes writing and he likes being creative and using entertainment in creative ways. I'm like, sounds a stick and A in front of it. Asexy for the win. Yeah, I know. Most asexuals say asexy, and I have got a t-shirt on Amazon you can buy saying so asexy or something like, or I know I'm so asexy, or I'm too asexy for this shirt. That's actually what it says. I use the word asexy because asexy means someone's sexy and you have an absence of sexual attraction for them. But in that moment, I did actually think in my head, God, you're so sexy. That's what I thought. But then I thought, well, just because I'm asexual doesn't mean to say I can't think he's sexy, but I just don't want sex with him. And I'm not sexually attracted to him, but I really want to kiss him as soon as I saw him. So that's why I'm different to a lot of asexuals, because a lot of asexuals experience platonic attraction. And if I see a guy that I think is really aesthetically attractive, I could literally, obviously I wouldn't do this because you have to have permission for to give someone. And I think this guy's in a completely different country to me. But you know what I mean? I experienced such powerful aesthetic attraction that it could just make me walk up. Well, it thinks in my head I could just walk up to a guy and kiss him because he's that kissable to me. He's that super aesthetically attractive that I could kiss him, even though I don't know him, even though he's a stranger, which most people can't do. Even like a lot of heterosexual don't like doing that type of thing. But there are quite a few people in nightclubs that do that, but not loads actually. But well, I don't know, there might be loads, but I think there's still quite a proportion who wouldn't do that. Just kiss a stranger. But I can like do that because I find it so like, I find these guys really aesthetically attractive. So having a lot of attractions and being asexual and not interested in sex can be very difficult sometimes, you know, because it's like, well, it's hard to get a relationship with lots of kissing without the sex because most people see kissing as a prequel to sex, whereas I want to kiss a guy because I'm highly aesthetically attracted to him usually, and sometimes romantically attracted to him as well. So, but it's important to ask on dating sites, especially if you're not asexual, what sexuality the person is. And, you know, be open to the idea that some people on dating sites are actually asexual, and ask them how, you know, their asexuality affects their relationships. Ask them what asexuality means to them. Ask them what types of attractions they do experience as an asexual person, because we all experience different types of attractions. You know, some asexuals have fetishes. I'm not interested in fetishes, but some asexuals do have fetishes. They have like foot fetishes, for example, and stuff like that. So some asexuals do masturbate, some watch porn, some are into BDSM and kinks without the sex, for example. You know, so just because someone's asexual doesn't mean to say that they're not interested in some stereotypical things that asexuals would be interested in, for example, but there's still a large proportion of asexuals that are not interested in sex, don't like it, don't want it, or need it. They don't need it at all. So it's always best if you come across an asexual, first of all, to be open to asexuality, understand there's different types of asexuals. Some don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever, pure asexuals, and some asexuals that might experience some sexual attraction, but only under limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or experience it but not enough to want to act on it, the grey asexuals. And the grey asexuals can vary, but from a person who might feel like rare sexual attraction, they might have only experienced it with one person in their life, or 4 or 5 people, whereas you may get another person on the asexual spectrum who hasn't experienced sexual attraction for years, but experienced it once with someone. Or you might get someone on the asexual spectrum who can only experience sexual attraction when a deep emotional bond has been formed, such as the demisexual. Some demisexuals might take years to form that deep emotional bond to feel sexual attraction, and other demisexuals might be able to experience sexual attraction with a number of people because they might be able to form bonds more easily with different people. So everyone's different. So please don't think every asexual is the same. Always ask them, and always be open to the fact that some people you date or you come across in everyday life, with your family, your friends, school, college, university, they might be asexual. Whenever you go to a concert, as 1%, if 1% of the population is asexual, that usually means 1 in every 100 people. You can imagine people at a concert, there's going to be a number of people that are asexual there, in theory. So always remember that asexuals are around you, but a lot of us are not out about being asexual, like I am. So yeah. But please do ask the person what types of attraction they experience. They might not know. I mean, if they're not asexual, they might just think all attraction's one thing, sexual attraction. But sexual attraction isn't the same as aesthetic attraction. It isn't the same as romantic attraction. But people can feel those things. Some people can feel those things simultaneously all together, right? But asexuals can separate different types of attractions and feel certain types of attractions for one person, but different types of attractions for another, for example. Or they might be just concurrent, is that the right word to use? Type of attraction they experience with people, like a main type of attraction they experience. So my main type of attractions, I should say, are aesthetic and romantic. They're my 2 main types of attractions for people. Aesthetic first, and then romantic. So aesthetic, I can feel a lot of aesthetic attraction, but it's usually coupled with romance. So always be open, keep an open mind. Know that asexuality is a genuine sexual orientation that's based on a lack of sexual attraction, and be open to the idea that people can experience romantic attraction, aesthetic attraction, though they're asexual. Not every asexual experiences these, but know that some asexuals can. Intelligence attraction, emotional attraction, sensual attraction, close attraction, creative attraction, all these types, spiritual attraction. So always be open-minded and explore attractions with each other. Very important. Anyway, I hope you've liked this live stream tonight. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here in chat. Thank you everyone else, including RT, that's been here in chat. Really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to grab my books on Amazon. I know they're coming up backwards on your screen. Sorry about that. This is Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. So Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, you can type that into Amazon. And then Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories. This is love, life and sex from an asexual point of view. So type that in to Amazon. And also Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Age Your Life. Type that in Amazon. I know it's backwards. I hope you can read backwards. I hope you can hear what I'm saying, but the links are in the description of my videos usually. So you can go to the description and click through those. And thanks. Is that Caleb? Have I got that right? It's hard to see on the phone screen. But thank you ever so much for being here. Thank you, Jonathan, for being here. I'm glad you liked the stream. Thank you to everyone else, RT, and thanks for everyone who's been here. Don't forget, like I say, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss an episode. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Take care. And don't forget to keep being bold, be authentic, and being you, and being ace.